Taurus, you may be moving through days and nights that feel heavier than you ever expected. Moments when you notice the quiet in your own life echoing louder than anything else around you. On the surface, you still show up. You still hold yourself together. You still play the role of someone reliable. But when the noise of the day fades and you find yourself alone, the silence feels undeniable. It is in that silence that you begin to sense something shifting deep within you. And I want you to know this clearly: your solitude is not a punishment. It is not proof that you have been forgotten, abandoned, or left behind. It is preparation, and it is necessary. This period of being with yourself is a kind of sacred recalibration. The universe has pulled away the distractions, the constant demands, the voices of others, so that you are left to hear only your own. Each night, you close your eyes and rest in that quiet space. Something important is happening. Your energy is reorganizing itself, stripping away the parts of you that once agreed to settle, the parts that tolerated being unseen, the parts that thought survival was enough. What remains, though it feels raw and unfinished right now, is your truest essence. The part of you that refuses to live half a life. I know the loneliness feels sharp. I know there are times when you wonder why you have to endure this at all. But Taurus, this season of solitude is not empty. It is full of work that you cannot yet see. Every quiet night is building your strength in ways that constant company never could. Every unanswered question, every tear that falls without witness, every breath you take when it feels like no one else is there, these are not wasted. They are signals that you are being reshaped, that the life you once carried no longer fits the life you are moving toward. You may be tempted to fill this silence quickly, to distract yourself, to reach for someone or something that makes the nights easier. But if you resist that urge, if you allow yourself to stay present in this quiet, you will notice that the loneliness slowly begins to feel different. It will stop being a void and start becoming a kind of clearing. That clearing is where the next chapter will be planted. That is why this solitude is not destruction, it is preparation. And as we move forward, Taurus, you will see that this weight you are carrying right now, this feeling that you have to bear more than you deserve, is not here to break you. It is here to reveal what you no longer need. That is where the story leads us next, into the weight you can finally put down. The burdens that are asking to be released. Taurus, you have always been the one to endure more than most. You are steady, patient, and grounded. The one who keeps moving even when life feels unbearably heavy. But there comes a time when endurance is no longer strength. When carrying something too long becomes the very thing that holds you back from living fully. That is where you find yourself now. The weight pressing on your chest is not only from the challenges you've faced, but from the things you've refused to set down. Some of these burdens are people you've carried in your heart long after they stopped walking beside you. Some are expectations you agreed to because you thought loyalty meant never saying no. And some are versions of yourself you outgrew long ago, yet still wear like an old coat because you are afraid of the unknown without them. The truth, Taurus, is that what you've been holding on to has stopped giving you life. At one time, these connections, responsibilities, or identities may have given you comfort, even purpose, but now they feel more like chains than anchors. Instead of steadying you, they are draining you. Instead of helping you rise, they are pulling you down. And the reason this has become so painful is because you already know, deep inside, that they are not aligned with who you are anymore. Your soul has been whispering that you cannot keep carrying what does not belong to your future. Letting go does not erase the love you gave, nor does it diminish the years you invested. Those moments are still part of your story, and they shaped you in ways that matter, but they are not meant to define you forever. What you've been protecting is no longer protecting you in return. The longer you hold on, the more it costs you your energy, your joy, your clarity, and slowly, the very essence of who you are gets buried beneath burdens that were never meant to stay. Taurus, it is time to recognize that your strength is not in how long you can suffer quietly, but in how bravely you can release what weighs you down. This is not failure. It is wisdom. It is the choice to stop pouring life into something that cannot give life back to you. The heaviness you feel is not weakness. It is the signal that your spirit is asking you to set down what no longer belongs in your hands. And as you begin to loosen your grip, you will notice something unexpected. The ground beneath you feels steadier, your breath feels deeper, and your heart feels lighter. That is the beginning of freedom. That is the beginning of the new chapter. Which brings us to the truth waiting just ahead, the trap of holding on, and why it has kept you from stepping into the life you deserve. Taurus, one of your greatest strengths is also the very thing that has kept you stuck. You are loyal to the core, patient beyond measure, and willing to endure discomfort if it means honoring what you once promised yourself or someone else. This quality is rare and beautiful, but when misused, it becomes a cage. You tell yourself that staying is strength, that refusing to give up proves your character, but the truth is, some of what you are clinging to is not holding you back because of love, it is holding you back because of fear. You fear what will happen when your hands are finally empty. When the familiar weight is no longer there to define your days, you fear the silence that follows release, the uncertainty of who you will be without the roles, people, or dreams you have wrapped yourself around. So you stay, you endure, you sacrifice, you convince yourself that this is devotion, that this is loyalty. But look closely, this is not love anymore. This is habit. This is fear disguised as duty. And it has cost you more than you realize. Each time you refuse to let go, you lose a little more of yourself. Each time you choose to carry something that no longer gives back, you teach yourself that your needs matter less. And with each passing day, the gap between who you are and who you are meant to be grows wider. This is the trap of holding on, believing that persistence will fix what is already gone. Believing that endurance will turn ghosts into something living again. But Taurus, no matter how strong you are, you cannot breathe life into what has finished its purpose. The hardest part is admitting that what you once thought was strength is now the very thing keeping you small. True strength is not in how long you can suffer, but in knowing when to stop. True wisdom is not in forcing something to last, but in recognizing when it has run its course. And true love, especially for yourself, sometimes looks like walking away. This is not defeat. This is not failure. This is liberation. Because when you finally see the trap for what it is, you also see the door that has been waiting to open all along. And what waits beyond that door is not emptiness, it is the birth of your true self. The version of you that no longer needs to beg, prove, or shrink in order to be worthy. Taurus, once you begin to loosen your grip and step out of the trap, something remarkable starts to happen inside you. At first, it feels unfamiliar, almost unsettling, because you've grown used to the heaviness, to the constant effort of carrying what no longer belongs to you. But as that weight begins to fall away, your body, your heart, and your spirit start to respond. Your breath deepens, your posture shifts, and slowly, the way you see yourself begins to change. You realize that you are not the same person who once thought survival was enough. You are becoming someone who demands more. Not from others, but from life itself. This transformation is not loud. It doesn't arrive like fireworks or sudden victories. It comes quietly, like a steady flame that refuses to go out. You start noticing that situations that used to throw you off balance no longer have the same power. The people who once drained your energy don't affect you the way they did before. What used to feel urgent now feels irrelevant. And what used to scare you now feels like an opportunity to grow. This is your inner world recalibrating, your spirit reclaiming the space it had been forced to give up for too long. You will also notice that your choices become sharper, clearer. Where once you hesitated, now you feel a calm certainty. Where once you doubted your own worth, now you stand a little taller. Speak with a little more strength. And trust that your needs are not too much. They are exactly as they should be. This is not arrogance. It is alignment. It is what happens when you finally stop bending yourself into shapes that don't fit, and instead let yourself take up the space you were always meant to hold. And as this transformation deepens, something else begins to unfold. You no longer feel the desperate pull to prove yourself, to hold on to what isn't working, or to accept less than what you deserve. Instead, you become magnetic. Without trying, you attract the people, opportunities, and experiences that resonate with your truest self. Not because you are chasing them, but because your authenticity naturally draws them in. This is the gift of the transformation within the Taurus. It is not about becoming someone new, it is about finally returning to who you really are. The version of yourself that was always there beneath the weight of expectations and fear. And as this new strength rises, it carries you forward into the final truth. The closing message that ties all of this together, that the pain you endured was never meant to destroy you, but to prepare you for the life you are stepping into now. Taurus, after all the nights of heaviness, the days of holding on too long, and the quiet moments when you thought no one could see your struggle, you are finally arriving at the truth that was waiting for you all along. The goodbye you feared, the silence you endured, the pain you carried, it was never here to break you. It was here to return you to yourself. You may look back and wonder why you had to walk through so much loneliness, why the universe asked you to carry so much on your own. But in time, you will see it clearly. Every moment was part of the preparation for the life you are stepping into now. The person you are becoming is not weaker for having cried, not smaller for having bent, not broken for having struggled. You are wiser, stronger, and far more aligned with who you really are. You have learned that strength is not about clinging endlessly, but about releasing bravely. You have learned that love is not proven by sacrifice that empties you, but by the courage to honor your own worth. You have learned that survival is not enough. You were meant to live, to create, to expand. This final message, Taurus, is simple. The story of carrying too much is finished. The cycle of being drained by what no longer fits has ended. Ahead of you is a season of alignment, abundance, and peace. Not because everything will suddenly become easy, but because you now know you don't have to carry what isn't yours. You are free to choose differently. You are free to demand more. You are free to walk forward without apology. So step into this next chapter without looking back. What once felt like loss will reveal itself as liberation. What once felt like emptiness will become the space where joy takes root. What once felt like the end will show itself to be the beginning of your rebirth. Taurus, you are not defined by the weight you carried, you are defined by the strength it built in you. And now, it is time to walk into the life you were always meant to live.